Okay, so let's actually hook it. Yep, it's here. It's working. Bye. Ooh, it crashed. Okay. To understand what just happened, we need to go back in time. Specifically to the 9/11. Okay, no, just kidding. We need to go back just like a month ago or something, not really sure. Out of nowhere, my brain started to wonder while I was playing a mobile game. This game is too fun, I need to find a way to break it. And 1. Ruin the game by acquiring every single item without having to pay. And second thing is to brag about it with my friends. Then I remembered I didn't have any friends, so I started to learn how mobile hacking worked. The first thing I did was finding a game. I wanted it to be primarily offline because hacking an online game would have been something that could actually go against the terms of service, while what it can be considered modding and in my opinion less damaging to the game itself because I'm not ruining anyone's gameplay by using the aimbot or something else. So I went for Zombie Tsunami. The first thing I did was to search mobile hacking on Google. And I fell in an enormous rabbit hole. I looked at GitHub Wikis forum from 2009 Discord server, Telegram, and I even worked with some of the maintainers of those programs. To start, I needed to find one thing first. A rooted Android phone. Fortunately, I had a rooted Samsung S9, as you can see. But for the sake of making this harder, I even did it on emulator, just to see if it was something replicable by other people that didn't have such thing. Spoiler, you can, but it took me a while to get an Android emulator rooted working on Linux. Because of compatibility issues with the architecture of the computer, Google Play services, problems, and many more. So I'm just gonna keep doing it on my phone, even if you can perfectly doing it on emulator like Waiter on Linux or BlueStack on Windows, I guess. I never tried it. Now I had to analyze the architecture of the game. Fortunately, like the majority of the game, it doesn't use IL2CPP, a new technology developed by Unity to make it harder for hackers to read the source code, but it wouldn't have been harder to bypass anyway thanks to a new tool such as IL2CPP Dumper and all of its new forks. Oh yeah, I was taking a look at the hexadecimal and I found out something really cool. Please use an iOS or Android simulator on device, user-centric does, okay, yeah, that's not really important. The actual, am I recording? Yeah. The actual important stuff is this: Uzbek, Cyril, Uzbekistan, Uzbek. Yeah, I can't even see any other language, just Uzbekistan. That's really cool. So what I had to look for is the it's here. Where is it? Yeah, code registration. We need to install the Frida server, what we're gonna use to connect to the process of the game. It's pretty straightforward, you just push it onto the phone and run it. Now we can connect to the process, but if we try to see what is going on during the game, we just see some incomprehensible stuff. Since it's not an IL2CPP game, we can just look at the code without having to look for metadata, but everything is encrypted. Here we have two choices. We can either do static analysis, that's basically the same as trying to understand hexadecimal, assembly, and so on and so forth just by reading it, or we can do dynamic analysis, pretty much making stuff happen and trying to see what's going on by reading the logs of the game to guess where the code is called to speed up the analysis process. I'm gonna skip the 6 or 7 days of me trying to read machine code almost as if I knew what I was actually doing. That's not the case, and simply go to the dynamic analysis part. That actually worked. Okay, but let's recap real quick. We have Frida and we can connect to the process of the game, but what do we have to do now? Well, it's pretty simple. We need to start the game, try to buy something, and make some educated guesses on how the payment process works. To do so, we need to hook the game to list all the function called, and after we find the correct function, we can hijack the traffic and simply return true. Now we can actually see the method called whenever you try to buy something, but be careful because we just know the first thing that occurs in the pipeline and not everything. As a matter of fact, there are different functions that work together to confirm the transaction. And even if only one of those returns an error, everything falls apart. We can't just connect to that element and make it say, okay, everything's fine, go ahead, because the next method expects a different input. So we need to return a fake yes, sort of like a fake receipt that says that we bought the item, and then it will be read by the cashier that will make us do the payment if it doesn't see any error. But what does that function return in case of success? Well, let's simply connect and see what a normal output would look like. Now that we notice the output, we need to edit it and make it our attack vector, a payload that waits for the real function to be called, and when it's called it returns the value that we want. I could go further with the explanation and talk about other possible methods and how to hack different games, encrypting different methods and so on and so forth. I could even make a mod menu to speed up the character and all of this stuff. The only problem is that this video is taking me like forever because during this time I also had school. I even got my driving license. That's something really cool, and a lot of other stuff is happening in my life. So yeah, I would really appreciate it if you just consider giving a like to this video, because it really took me a lot to make it. Also because it's not really sustainable in the long run to make one video once every 6 months. So yeah, again, thanks for watching all of this, and hope you'll see me in less than 6 months.